Imagine a leader living in so much luxury and indulgence that they barely notice, let alone care, about the suffering of everyone else. That was the life of King Eglon, the ruler of Moab. King Eglon was a man who feasted while others starved, who lived in silk and comfort while the people he oppressed were crushed under the weight of his rule. King Eglon didn't just rule with arrogance. He ruled with gluttony, pride, and cruelty. King Eglon's story is found in the book of Judges, chapter 3, during a dark and painful period in Israel's history. The Bible says that the Israelites had sinned against God, and as a result, God allowed them to be conquered by their enemies. This time, it was the Moabites led by King Eglon. King Eglon allied himself with the Ammonites and Amalekites, and together they invaded and overpowered the Israelites. For 18 long years, King Eglon ruled over the Israelites, and his leadership was harsh. He enslaved, mistreated, and burdened his people. Meanwhile, King Eglon's own life was the complete opposite. While others suffered, he indulged in every pleasure. The Bible describes him as extremely obese, so much so that his enormous size became part of the story itself. King Eglon's obesity wasn't just physical. It represented the greed, selfishness, and excess that he lived in while ignoring the pain of his people. But the people of Israel finally turned back to God. In their desperation, they cried out to him for deliverance from King Eglon's rule. And once again, God answered. He raised up an unlikely deliverer, a man named Ehud. You see, in the eyes of man, Ehud seemed like the wrong choice. He was left-handed, which in ancient times was seen as a weakness. But one consistent thing about God is that he loves to use the unexpected. Ehud didn't come with a mighty army or fiery speech to deliver the Israelites from King Eglon. He came with a simple yet strategic plan, a dagger and divine help. Ehud's plan to destroy King Eglon unfolded like something straight out of a movie. The Bible says he arrived at the king's palace under the pretense of delivering a gift to him. No one suspected Ehud because it was common for the oppressed Israelites to deliver tributes and gifts to King Eglon as a way of pleasing him. But before arriving at the king's palace, Ehud had made himself a small double-edged sword and strapped it to his right thigh, hidden under his clothes. The guards searched him as expected, but since most warriors carried weapons on their left side to easily withdraw using the right hand, Ehud's sword on his right thigh went unnoticed. Remember, Ehud was left-handed, and since the guards weren't aware of this, they simply searched his left side for weapons and didn't bother checking his right side. After the search, Ehud was allowed to come before King Eglon. Standing before the fat king on his throne, Ehud first offered his gifts. Then he enticed the king further by telling him that he had a secret message from God for him. Intrigued, the king dismissed his guards and ordered them to give him and Ehud a private moment so they could discuss the secret message. And then, the moment came. As King Eglon leaned in to hear the message, Ehud pulled out the hidden dagger that was on his right thigh with his left hand and plunged it deep into the king's belly. The Bible describes this chilling scene vividly. The dagger went in so far that it disappeared inside Eglon's fat belly. His bowels released, and he collapsed in silence. Ehud then calmly locked the doors and walked out, leaving the king lying dead in his chamber. The servants, noticing the chamber's doors were locked, assumed the king was simply relieving himself in private after his chat with Ehud. After all, the awful smell in the air suggested that. But when too much time had passed, the servants finally opened the doors and found their once mighty king lying in disgraceful death. By the time they discovered the body, Ehud was long gone. He had escaped to safety and rallied the Israelites for battle. With King Eglon dead and confusion in the Moabites' camp, the Israelites were able to rise up and defeat their enemies, securing peace for many years to come. This story might seem strange, almost too graphic or bold for some, but it holds a powerful truth. God sees injustice, he sees suffering, and when his people humble themselves and return to him, he hears their cry. No king, no throne, no amount of wealth or power is greater than God. King Eglon thought his position made him untouchable, but he was brought down not by a great army, but by a humble left-handed man with a dagger and the backing of heaven. Through King Eglon's story, we are reminded that God is just and he is always working, even in the most unlikely ways, to rescue his people and bring down arrogant oppressors who exalt themselves above others. If you've enjoyed this video, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Be blessed.